Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a very packed video filled with confusing information, strange decisions by K-pop companies, and overall a discussion as to why these kind of groups usually don't work out. You thought my video about Rania and Black Swan was long? Well, I do believe that this video will be longer, which is kind of wild considering the fact that the group we're covering today doesn't even have that much content, and overall there isn't much media from their career. So that will lead into my first kind of disclaimer, that this video is probably mostly going to be audio and repeated videos and photos, as there is not a lot of media available. I will try to make it as visually interesting as possible, both so it's not completely dull, but also so you can hopefully keep track of how things escalate and change rapidly. Because trust me, you guys are probably going to think that I made some of this stuff up, because some of the stuff that went down in this group just feels unreal. I think that people appreciated the visuals in my Rania video, so I'm hoping to make it even better this time around. Today we will be covering the K-pop girl group Leaders that was around from early 2011 till October of 2015. Even though their career was not long, with a decent gap in the middle where the group went on hiatus, Leaders holds the record for the K-pop group with the most members and member changes. Now, this number could be even larger than what we think, but as of September of 2024, the number of members that were in Leaders is up to 63. Yes, 63 members. And almost half of those, to this day, we don't know the names of, even though they were active and promoted at different events. More information and media is being uncovered about this group every day, all thanks to some dedicated fans. And this is where I need to give a massive shout out to Leaders TGN on Twitter, as all of the information in today's video comes from them. They spend their own time helping me understand the group by providing a Google Doc with all the information, media, and all over just answering all questions I had. This video would not have been possible without them, as some information online about Leaders is not even correct or is missing loads of information. So I want to give a huge thanks to them, as well as Angel and Soul on YouTube, who also helped me with this. I will leave links down below for Leaders TGN's Twitter, as they still update anytime they find any new information. The second thing I wanted to kind of make a disclaimer about really quick is that there's one part of the video where I had to make a whole separate section, as it speaks about some very serious issues and topics. I will add some warnings before that section starts, but I wanted to mention it quickly here just in case there are people that know about this group and wonder why I don't mention it inside of the main timeline. And the main reason is because the topic is very serious. The third thing that I wanted to make a disclaimer about before we start is that I asked that no one reach out to any of the members of the Leaders, as they don't seem to want to speak about this part of their lives, so please do not go into their DMs asking about the group or the label TGN. If you have any questions, just ask in the comments or reach out to Leaders TGN on Twitter instead. Okay, without further ado, let's dive deep into the K-pop group Leaders. In the early 2000s, Park Young-sik established the company Tagona Entertainment, located in Gangnam-gu district in Seoul. Since this was a relatively small and unknown company, it is hard to find any good sources on them. According to some additional research, the company also went by the name Asia Art before changing the name to Tagona. There's not a lot of information about this that we have found yet, but there is some proof of this, like very similar practice rooms and such. Some of the artists under this label, other than the group that I'm covering today, were groups like Bistro, Mr. Bob, Monkey Stick, Smile Sister, and the pre-debut group 20 Star, along with other soloists as well. The label has some very interesting groups under the belt, like Mr. Bob, that was a trot boy group. They also seem to have a very similar pattern when it comes to group members. Lots of members that leave often or disappear with no information given. One of those groups I will touch on briefly today as it relates to Leaders, that group being 7size. In 2009, Tagona changed their name to TGN Entertainment and debuted another trot girl group called 7size. They were often promoted as the Trot Girls Generation. 7size had their debut in February of 2009 with their song Apen Gasim, which roughly translates to a painful heart. The The group did not gain any success, and with multiple member changes within a couple of months of their debut and completely changing their lineup and concept for their comeback, they did not last long and were presumably disbanded in 2010. In 2010, TGN also started the process of debuting the boy group called 20 Star that would have 20 members. The plan was to have members in different units, kind of similar what Triple S is doing today. The boy group went through member changes pre-debut, and the debut plans eventually fell through and the group disbanded. Sometime in August of 2010, TGN added a new girl group to their neighbor cafe called Leaders. A couple of months later, in November, the lineup of Leaders was revealed. The members were Chaeul, Yesol, Tae, Cindy, Solji, Sharon, and Selin. The two last members, Sharon and Selin, were former members of the group Seven Size. The group was named Leaders due to all the members being skilled enough to be leaders of the group. It was announced that Leaders was set to debut in November of 2010. One of the members, Selin, said this about the group and their upcoming debut in an interview. Quote, "We are trying to show a song and choreography that is on a whole different level from the girl groups we have seen so far. Our songs exclude mechanical sounds and aren't a hook with short, repetitive choruses. It's a completely different attempt from existing girl groups. I'm not saying that I'm confident in my singing ability, but I've chosen a song that requires more singing ability as my debut song, and I am practicing hard." End quote. So just a little bit more about the girls that were in the pre-debut lineup of Leaders. Selin, like I said, was a member of the group Seven Size. She also attended Sopa, and she was made the leader of the group. Tae was a dancer since she was 7 years old, and she graduated from the Korean National University of Art. Sharon, the other member of Seven Size, had been planning to debut as a soloist, and there was also a story that went around that one of Sharon's friends was in the lineup for Leaders but had to drop out due to health issues, so Sharon took her place. However, according to another member, this was never the case, and there was no member before Sharon. Cindy had been a good vocalist since she was young and had also been planning to debut as a soloist with a very known composer, but those plans ended up being scrapped for unknown reasons. Solji used to work in the makeup industry before, doing makeup for music stages. Solji and Cindy had been friends since elementary school, ended up auditioning for the group together. Members Yesol and Chaeul were also friends and classmates, and also both ended up getting into the group. In the same interview that I mentioned before, the other members spoke about their bond, saying that although they had only been training for 3 months together, they had a strong bond due to things like being friends before joining. The oldest member, Tae, said that one of the biggest strengths of Leaders is that each member had their own distinct color. She said that the members all had excellent singing skills, but their true strength was in their stage performances. The group did some pre-debut appearances, like performing at a military base and at a college entrance exam festival. Those were the only 2 appearances where Sharon was present. She ended up leaving the group and TGN unexpectedly, stating personal reasons. The group debut song had already been recorded with Sharon in it, and there was even a recording sketch uploaded in mid-November. Also, around that time, the group made an appearance on the show VJ Special Forces, a show that covered recent news and current affairs in pop culture. In the show, Leaders appeared alongside 20 Star's Ricky, who happens to be Sharon's brother. Due to the lineup change-up, the debut of Leaders was now set for December and had to be pushed back, and the group went radio silent. While they were silent and preparing for their new date, some changes happened within the group, like the leader position was changed and a new member, Yeonsil, was added to replace Sharon. Prior to her joining Leaders, she had entered the Department of Aviation and Tourism and was preparing to become a flight attendant. She had always wanted to become a singer, so she decided to audition for TGN and ended up being accepted and added into Leaders. Just before their debut with the new edition, Leaders did have a performance on March 18, 2011 at a relay concert that was being held to raise funds to help victims of the Great Japan earthquake. With a lineup of Solji, Chaeul, Selin, Yeonsil, Cindy, Yesol, and Tae, Leaders had their debut on March 22nd of 2011 with their digital single Please. Along with the title track Please, there was another song, Wish, that also goes by the title Hope. Both of these tracks kept the autotune to a minimum to showcase the natural vocals of the members. Please is described as a medium-tempo dance song with ballad inspiration, with an emotional melody to give focus on the members' vocals along with stylish choreography and a groovy drum beat. The song goes between rap and singing, expressing in the lyrics sadness and regret that comes from a ruptured couple. The meaning of the group's name, Leaders, was also changed around this time. In an interview, Dahae said, quote, "Leaders was a name with the meaning of creating and leading new trends and becoming leaders in the music industry. We emphasized simplicity rather than flashiness, bringing out the individual of each of the 7 members," end quote. The title track, Please, did not have a music video, and they did not have a debut performance on a music show until months later on June 16th. Their appearance on M Countdown was their first and last music show appearance in the group's career. Apparently, this was due to internal conflict within TGN. They did have a handful of other schedules, like some interviews, and they appeared on the show 나는 전설이다, which roughly translates to I Am Legend. Even though there was lackluster promotion for the group's debut, the public's reaction to them was positive. In late July, one of the members, Cindy, ended up leaving Leaders. According to the group's former manager, she wanted to go back to school and focus on her studies. Since Cindy was the main vocal of the group, that position was given to Solji. Along with that, 2 new members were added into the group, those being Kyung-suk and Ping Lee, also known as Pingy. This new lineup of members then started preparing for their first comeback. The group started preparing for their first comeback, with TGN saying, quote, "Leaders, a new girl group that showed groovy activities in the first half of 2011, is accelerating its activities with its 1.5 single album," end quote. They called this comeback 1.5 because one of the songs of the upcoming single album was the same song as from their debut single, that one being Wish, or also known as Hope. In late August, the comeback was announced, saying that the music video for the comeback had been filmed in Ijeongbu and was currently being edited. Leaders then had a comeback on September 19th with the digital single Kiss Me. The song was described as, quote, electronic hip-hop by rookie composer Shin Young-sup that expresses an active courtship of a man with strong beats and self-love, end quote, and also, quote, contemporary hip-hop with explosive electronic beats and toxic melodies that encompass the entire song, end quote. For this comeback, the group seemed to also have dropped the concept of keeping the auto-tune to a minimum. Although the song was released on September 19th, no music video was ever released. In early September, before the release of the song, they made a tweet where they seemingly showed behind scenes of the music video shoot. When asked, TGN stated that the video would be released the next upcoming week. By the end of the Kiss Me promotions, no music video had been released and TGN stayed completely silent on the topic. According to some inside information that Leaders TGN managed to dig up, we have a little bit of an idea of what could have happened. The music video for Kiss Me did have a production team, but while working on the video, the team fell apart for unknown reasons, so apparently TGN tried to rush a whole new team of people to finish the video. After the video was finished, the quality was supposedly very bad, and due to this, they struggled to find a distributor for the video, which led to the music video never being released. Around this time, with the lack of promotions and the stark concept change, the group both gained and lost some fans. But most fans seem to agree that TGN was absolutely awful at promoting the group. Apparently, even fan pages for Leaders would joke that when the members themselves spoke about the song, that at least there was some promotion being done for Kiss Me. Like I said, there was not a lot of promotion for this comeback, a couple of interviews and performances, and an appearance on an episode of Kun TV, which aired in early October. There was also a giveaway giveaway hosted before the comeback date for fans, offering 5 signed Kiss Me albums. To enter the giveaway, you had to share a video or a picture of you in a specific blog and leave a supportive message for the group, and apparently only 7 people entered the giveaway, which tells you how unknown the group really was at the time. A huge part of this was due to TGN's lack of promoting them properly. On September 13th, it was announced that leaders had volunteered to help promote for the upcoming 2018 Winter Olympic Games that were taking place in South Korea. They would be making a song for the games called Olympic Korea, which was meant to be a song to cheer up their listeners. The song was written and composed by Jung Won-soo, who was called a trot hitmaker, as he was known in the music scenes for various songs. The song was accompanied by a promotional photo shoot in collaboration with Phillies, a winter sports wear brand that provided the group with clothing to pose in, and the company would use the photos for their own promotional material as well. The song was released on September 28th according to plan. However, there was no performances scheduled, and although there was plans for a music video, no video was ever released. Apparently, a music video had been in the work with the same brand as I mentioned before, Phillies, and even according to one member, they shot the video completely using green screen. The members themselves never got to see the results. This song, however, did secure the group a spot to perform during the Hallyu Wave Week. Also in early September, TGN opened up auditions for a new project called Leaders 2. In this project, the girls would be taking on a more innocent image rather than the sexy, mature concept that the original group had. From what I can tell, this group did not go far. There seemingly wasn't any media for Leaders 2. There was only one photo that was shared on Twitter that is believed to be from this Leaders 2 project. In that photo, we can see the trainees Annie, Yejin, Gunhye, Danbi, and Sally. Then, on October 27th, TGN made the shocking announcement that Leaders would be rebranding to a 24-member group that would be separating into 3 different subunits called Leaders T, Leaders G, and Leaders N, spelling out TGN. Each unit would have 8 members, as the number 8 was considered a lucky number in China. Leaders T was supposed to have the original members of Leaders, while the other units would have new members. Both Leaders T and G had plans of debuting within 2011, which, may I remind you, this was announced in late October. And the last unit was supposed to debut in January of 2012. In an interview, TGN stated, quote, "We selected through a survival format 2 years ago, and there may be member exchanges between units as needed. Leaders G and Leaders N are currently also diligently preparing for their debut," end quote. TGN also said, quote, "Unlike other girl groups that put forth a sexy or cute image, Leaders puts forth a comfortable and friendly character rather than a feeling of floating far and high like a star. We pursue a girl group that female students can like on their own level, like friends," end quote. It seems that TGN got a lot of inspiration from the Japanese group AKB48. On top of that, having a goal of having members that are friendly with fans, the lineups of the units were also not set in stone. The lineups could always change according to the opinion of fans, as well as based on other factors like the girls' vocal talents. With these news, Leaders did gain some attention, shooting up in the Naver search results. People were asking how the line distribution would be and how fans would remember so many names. TGN did actually give a response to these questions about line distribution, saying, quote, "Recently, many idol groups have been taking turns singing one verse. So there has been a cynical expression called one-verse singers. Leaders will be split into 3 parts to sing like a female choir, soprano, mezzo-soprano, and alto," end quote. With this newfound attention, it would have been smart for TGN to promote the group, but they did no such thing. In November, there were no news about them. them. The debut of the units never came, and there was also no information about cancellation either. While leaders and TGN stayed silent, member Solji left the group and was replaced with a new member, Aera. Leaders did start off December with a performance at Hallyu Wave Week, performing with Aera for the first time. Later in December on the show 불복쇼이, sorry if I butchered that, we got to meet two new members for the upcoming units, Gyunhye from leaders G and Ji-young from leaders N. Not long after this, two members of the original leaders, those being Cheol and Selin, left. Those two were replaced with Yujin and Ha-young. And then on December 15th, the lineups of the three units were revealed. Leaders T had the members Dahae, Hyesol, Yeonsil, Kyungsuk, Pingli, Aera, Yujin, and Ha-young. Leaders G had the members Kyunghye, Sally, Annie, Yejin, Minhee, So-hyung, Ha-bin, and Danbi. Some of those names probably sound familiar, as Annie, Yejin, Kyunhye, Danbi, and Sally were supposedly in the lineup for leaders too. And lastly, for the leaders unit N, the lineup consisted of Soyun, Ji-young, Suk-hyung, Bomin, Rirang, Seram, Sanga, and Yunju. Just so there's no confusion, some of the members did end up changing their stage names. So Ji-young changed their name to Seunghee, Ha-young changed their name to Sol, Yujin changed her name to Yusol, and Rirang changed it to Irang. On December 28th, a debut showcase for the new and improved group took place. However, there seemed to be some member changes in the lineup already. Members Soyun, Soo-kyung, Sanga, and Yoonju had all left the group and been replaced with new girls. One of them was Purim, and the other three girls we till this day do not have the names for. For those who watch my channel, Purim might sound familiar, as she would end up becoming a leader for another group called Baba that I covered a while back, but more about that later. About these changes, one member later revealed that the girls were added into the group in such a rush that she had no chance of even knowing the names of these members. This debut showcase was a private event, and you could only enter if you had an invitation. No students or minors were allowed inside, even though some of the members themselves were minors and students. There was a loads of issues that came with this private event. On the day of the show, that was set to take place from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., reporters started showing up early and were told to leave as they were not supposed to arrive early. Apparently, the reporters and organizers started arguing about it, and the event organizers allegedly told the reporters to shut up. Of course, the reporters left after that incident, before the showcase had even started. Scentimor, the company that was hosting the showcase along with leaders, came out to apologize for the situation, and then the staff themselves had to come out to apologize, offering reporters to come inside for a drink. People were not happy about this. The staff for the event were apparently reprimanded by one of the leader members' parents. This all happened before the showcase had officially even started. When the showcase started, 19 of the 24 members came out on stage and performed Olympic Korea. Most of the members did little bits like dancing, singing, or showing off miscellaneous skills. Part of Leaders and Unit performed Ego by Beyonce, member Era and Seoul performed Check on It by Beyonce, Yesol showed her talent of animal impressions, Purim showed off her talent that could make her a soloist, and so much more. Leaders T, for some reason without Yeonsil, performed Kiss Me, and so on. Each unit also got introduced, and we got a sneak peek of their upcoming 24-member song Ex-Boyfriend that was set to come out the next month. However, according to an actual member, the song was in very early stages of production. Of the day of the showcase, the members had to sing and dance to a song using a guide, and the members themselves even referred to Ex-Boyfriend as a song that didn't exist. At the end of the showcase, the 24 members stood together on the stage dressed in hanboks. However, this was not just a regular showcase, as this was also, for some reason, an investment debriefing for the coffee shop that I mentioned before, Scentimor. They announced that if everything went to plan, they had goals to open a new coffee shop called Scentimor Leaders, and there was also a plan to make a live theater for the girl group. This again sounds very similar to what AKB48 does, as they have a set theater for performances. As if this wasn't enough for one day, there was still loads of issues with the debut showcase. Firstly, the stage was way too small, so the 24 members couldn't even fit, and there wasn't even enough microphones for all of them. Due to issues with the sound systems, the girls were also spotted lip syncing. The girls would get interrupted at random so Scentimor could promote themselves. People in attendance said that overall the showcase was not professional, saying that the members lacked skills and that the showcase reminded them more of a school presentation. Overall, this event was so messy and rushed by Scentimor, and they were clearly prioritizing their own company and investors instead of letting leaders have an actual proper debut showcase. The day after, when news of the fiasco had spread, TGN had to speak up and issue an apology. Quote, the official debut stage was originally scheduled for early next year, but due to the coffee company business debriefing schedule, this showcase had to be put together in a short preparation period, so it came out in an incomplete state, and it seems that there was some difficulty. We were not able to decide on the title of the 24-member leader's new song in time, and it was unfortunate that we had to lip sync due to problems with the sound system. To make matters worse, we were not careful in selecting the event company. We admit that there was trial and error due to the lack of our experience. The leaders members are full of passion and are working really hard despite the difficult circumstances. We will prepare perfectly and go on stage again, so please be generous and forgive us for our mistakes on our first stage and watch over us, end quote. Scentimor also spoke out about the situation, saying, quote, we apologize for the rough running and rude behavior of the female employee of the event company we outsourced. We feel responsible as a coffee company that outsourced the event. We also admit that we ended up planning too much in order to fit the scheduled business briefing schedule. The Go Group leaders did nothing wrong, just preparing diligently under the given circumstances. Nevertheless, I am worried that their image will be damaged, end quote. Also, on that same day, a photo of leaders was uploaded, but 3 of the members were missing, 2 of those being members that we never got the names of, as well as Bomin. There are slightly different reportings on who actually left the group after the showcase, but it is believed to be that it was those 2 unknown members and Bomin. As on January 6, 2012, member Irang also shared a photo of Bomin on her Twitter captioned, quote, I will always miss you, end quote. After the showcase, 2012 started out with some profiles being added onto the leader's fan cafe, and TGN also used the unit's fan cafe to announce opening of auditions. In the first 2 months of 2012, we had some major changes once again. Habin, who was a member of Leaders G, was transferred from her unit to the unit Leaders N. On top of that, Sol, Dahe, Ping Li, Irang, and 1 other member that we don't know the name of left the group. It is also assumed that members Yesol, Youngsil, and Kyungsuk left around this time. We don't really know why any of these members left. However, members of Leaders T, the original members of Leaders, basically said it was due to massive changes TGN did to the group. A fan page called Leaders SG asked TGN about this, and in response they stated, quote, for us, the members of Leaders will be replaced at various times through a survival concept. Although we will not change them really often, through the survival concept, the more outstanding members will be recruited. Currently, through our midst of preparing a new album, we have replaced several members, end quote. There's also another member that seemed to have joined sometime in the first 2 months of 2012 called Sola. However, she joined and left within a very short period of time. On February 11th, Leaders was invited onto the MBC Club 1999, a new show on MBC that was, quote, a music variety program which honors and remembers the biggest stars of the 90s, end quote. 7 members of Leaders attended the show. Purim and Sunghee from Leaders N, Danbi, Annie, and Yejin from Leaders G, and Yusul and Aera from Leaders T. However, although they were invited, they did not really feature a lot in the show, with no performances, and out of an hour-long episode, they only got around 2 minutes of screen time. But hey, fans were just happy to see that Leaders was still going. Not long after this appearance, members Sunghee, Annie, Aera, and Yusul all left the group. For almost a whole month after the MBC appearance, Leaders went radio silent. That was until the end of March, when the Jihoons Carat 50th anniversary festival took place. Leaders were invited to the Hallyu Wave Star concert. That day, Leaders appeared with 14 new members in their lineup. Out of the 14 members, we only know the names of 2 of them, those being Lee Sarang, who joined Leaders G, and Lee Yoon-hee, that joined Leaders N. I'm gonna add this in here as I have a huge update to this section of the video. With the hard work of Leaders TGN on Twitter, we have found the name of one of these unknown members that appeared at this festival. Her name is Miso. It is assumed that she had a rapper position and she was a part of Leaders G. This is brand new information that until now has not been made public, so you guys are the first one to hear this. I just wanted to add that really quickly in here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of content from this appearance, but Leaders G and N performed Kiss Me and Leaders G performed Please. Like I said, there isn't a lot of proof for this performance happening, but there must be somewhere, as people did record it on their phone while leaders were on the stage, and it was also broadcasted live and on TV. NBC even released the recording of some other groups years later, but unfortunately there just doesn't seem to be any clips of Leaders' performance. Then on April 26th, they performed at the 51st anniversary of the Gyeongnam Provincial Sport Festival. There's only like one photo from this appearance, but from the photo it is assumed that Leaders performed Olympic Korea and an unknown song. As for this appearance, there is no guarantee we will ever see any clips from it, because as far as we know, there was no broadcasts from this day. Kicking off May, Serom, Ganhye, Yejin, Yoonhee, and Minhee all left the group. There might be other members that also left during this time, but these are the members we can confirm. Members Habin and Purum, and maybe Sarang as well, transferred to Leaders T. Leaders TGN on Twitter has uncovered another appearance by them from 2012. This appearance was on May 5th. Translating what the sign behind them says, this is an event for some sort of opening in Bupyeong Art Center. That is all we know about this, and this is the only photo we have found so far. But at least we know there was at least one more performance in 2012. In June, Seram, who had just left the group, appeared on the show Martian Virus, a show on TVN that featured people with, quote, unusual lifestyles. She appeared on there due to her having something that translates from Korean to myeliophobia. However, I can't really find anything about this phobia with this exact spelling, but what I believe it is actually severe germophobia or mesophobia. In the episode, she said that she used to use around 500 wet tissues each day. Mesophobia can be very severe and debilitating for people, making them have a pathological fear of germs and contamination of any sorts. On Wikipedia, it describes mesophobia symptoms as including, quote, abnormal behaviors such as excessive hand washing, wearing gloves, or covering commonly used items to prevent contaminations without due reason, and avoiding social interactions or public spaces to avoid exposure to germs. In the episode, Seram also said that the reason she had joined the group was because she was, quote, interested in celebrities, whatever that means. Starting in July, articles started going around with the news that Leaders was preparing for a comeback in October of that year. In these articles, we got a little bit more information about the fallout from the debut showcase. The group's planned investment, modeling contracts, and other events were all cancelled, so that was the main reason why Leaders had gone silent for most of 2012. This was also the first time TGN spoke about the departing members. They said that this was due to the scandal following the showcase. They ran out of funds and even lost their office space, lodging, and practice rooms. But the CEO, Park Young-sik, did encourage the members to stay and was even actively recruiting new members. Leaders also had apparently gotten a sponsorship from a health center, but I don't believe we know what company this was. The CEO in an interview said, quote, we're constantly auditioning new members, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that we are an indie girl group. The members themselves are creating our own girl group image. Rather than a girl group that seems like it was produced by a machine, we plan to maximize the wild image and each member's individuality. End quote. Former member Lee Yoon-hee also appeared on Martian Virus in July, where she revealed that the reason she left the group was due to the clothing being too revealing. In her episode, she said, quote, I was previously a member of a 24-member girl group Leaders, but I gave up and left the group because there was too many revealing clothes, end quote. Speaking more on it, she said, quote, even in the middle of summer, I wear a fur hat and wrap a scarf around my neck. I hate how much skin is visible. A year ago, in late fall, I ran a shopping mall and worked as a model, but I was too thin and the clothes didn't look good, so I ended up failing, end quote. Back to Leaders. Throughout 2012, members kept leaving one after another until there was no members left in the group. We never got the October comeback, and throughout the year, Leaders were supposed to have a comeback again and again, but the comeback got pushed back. It was originally scheduled for May, according to member Habin, and it was then set for October before it was cancelled again. TGN did also not promote the group well enough, and in early 2012, TGN TGN abandoned the group's social media, and most interactions and information we got was from the members themselves on their personal Twitter accounts. The year 2013 was very quiet. There was no news until March when we met a new member, Yoon Ah-hyun, through a Kakao story. Apparently the plan was for her to debut in October, but we have no more information about this alleged release. We had no information about lineups, further plans, and so on. Most people probably forgot about the group or even assumed that they had disbanded. Interestingly enough, the CEO of TGN ended up deleting everything related to leaders on his social media account. Without any way to confirm this, it is speculated that he did this as he was working on finishing a new lineup for the group and wanted to delete all traces of the old leaders. The group, or what was left of it, was radio silent for the first half of 2014. On August 28th, TGN made a new social media account for leaders and made a post announcing they were looking for a manager for our, quote, 5-member group who debuted in the past but is coming back after member changes, end quote. This was the first information that we got that the group had not disbanded like some people had worried. At this point, no lineup had been announced, but there was a photo with the post with some members in it. 2 days later, leaders started promoting again on August 30th. The group appeared at the Hwajeongdong Flower Well Festival that took place in Hwajeong Cultural Plaza. Sadly, there's no photos or videos of their appearance at the festivals, but it is confirmed that the group was there that day. I will mention here, according to what some of the former members of the original leaders lineup, the members were not happy that leaders was back to promoting, saying that their reaction to the news was rather unpleasant. On September 19th, articles revealed that unit leaders T was being rebooted with a whole new look and of course a new lineup. It was revealed that the group would be coming back in October with a single called Kimchi Witch. TGN CEO claimed in an interview, quote, "We have been preparing for the show with a lot of determination. After the announcement of the showcase due to inexperience, there was a lot of discouragement, but we are preparing to make a comeback with new members with a mindset that we cannot fall down like this," end quote. With this new 5-member lineup, it seemed that TGN had dropped the whole 8-member unit setup. However, the 3 units themselves seemed to kind of be still going, as TGN was still recruiting and revealing new members for the other 2 units, Leaders G and Leaders N. With a brand new lineup for Leaders T, consisting of members Mulan, also known as Mulan, who was the leader, main rapper and maknae Cherry, sub-vocals Susanna and Beanie, also known as Vinny, and main vocal Purim, who had been in Leaders before leaving and then rejoining the group. We have this photo from July of 2014 with some of the members of Leaders. This photo, up until now, has not been released by Leaders TGN on Twitter, so not many people have seen this photo. In the photo, we can see members preparing for their upcoming release. The girl in the purple hair is Beanie, and the girl in the blue hair is Cherry. It is not confirmed who the yellow-haired and the red-haired girls are, but they might be Susanna and Purim, just based on what the lineup was at the time. The orange hair member is unknown, as we do know that this is not Mulan, who was in Leaders at this point, so that one is unknown as well. On September 26th, a dance practice teaser was uploaded, but of course the full version was never made available. The group had some performances before the official release of Kimchi Witch, but finally, on October 17th, Leaders came back through their unit, Leaders T, with the single Kimchi Witch. 김치 나를 만든 건 너의 눈인걸 김치 눈, 코, 입 찢을 수밖에 없어 그래 미소가 보이고 진짜 김치 마녀가 될 수밖에 없네 나를 좋아했네 얼굴만 봐다 이유 나를 좋아했네 정말 미칠 것 같아 정말 미칠 것 같아 이젠 나 소용없어 김치 위치를 살기로 했어. Now, before we speak about the comeback itself, I did want to touch on the title of the comeback, Kimchi Witch, as it comes from the term kimchi girl, along with other terms like doenjang girl, aka soybean paste girl. I had actually never heard this before, so I had to Google it, and with some added context about the lyrics and how the members spoke of the song, it makes a lot more sense, so I wanted to add that information in here. According to some comments on Reddit, so take all of this with a grain of salt, one of them says, quote, "It's a sexist term used by Korean men for Korean women based on the stereotype of Korean women being shallow and only wanting men to buy them expensive gifts, kind of like a Korean red pill term," end quote. Another comment gives more information about the usage of these kind of terms. Quote, it's a derogatory term for Korean women. Sometimes Japanese women are called sushinya, a compliment in the contrast to kimchinya. I highly recommend that you never use this term since it's extremely controversial, end quote. Another comment expands on the term sushi girl that says, quote, it's a sexist term that means Japanese women are more superior because they're not superficial and not gold diggers. They're compliments but not really, end quote. Last comment I wanted to read from this Reddit thread says, quote, it's similar to dojengnya, a phrase that you should never say to a girl, end quote. This term, dojengnya, or soybean paste girl, is another term that comes up a lot to relation of kimchi girls. According to the Wikipedia, the term, quote, mocks a woman for eating a cheap meal so that she can buy something expensive, end quote. The term comes from doenjangjjigae, or soybean paste stew, which is one of the cheapest meals you can make in Korea. Now, with some added context, let's go back to the release of Leader's song Kimchi Witch. The song was composed and arranged by the producer Space Star, who stated while speaking about the song that this idea had been on his mind for a while, and then terms like miso girl and kimchi girl started going around online. By the way, miso and doenjang are both soybean pastes. He also said that the fact is that these terms are the responsibility of everyone and that we should abandon the idea that it's only women who have these problems. The lyrics of Kimchi Girl express a bitter side of the issue that come with being a woman, and that this is a song that you need to listen to and think about at least once. Speaking about the song, member Beanie said, quote, from the mid-late 2000s, there's a lot of bad terms like kimchi or donjingyo. This song is about the reason why the term came up, end quote. Member Cherry said, quote, the lyrics are kimchi girl and doenjang girl. There's things like this. It's not just about women, it's about men. It's a problem created by society. It's a song that explains it. So when you listen to the lyrics, there's a lot of issues. I think it's going to work, end quote. To some, the song and its lyrics were deemed problematic and controversial, but the members thought this was a good way to start a conversation surrounding the issue. The same day of the release of Kimchi Witch, the group performed at an event, and on October 20th, an interview with leaders was aired through Y-Star. The girls spoke about the song and the topic of the showcase came up. Podum mentioned that after the showcase failed, the members of leaders were all in shock and scared that they would never get a chance to go on stage again. But after receiving so much training, she was happy to get a chance to re-debut with Kimchi Witch. Mulan also said in the interview that her goal for this release was to win Rookie of the Year award. On October 21st, pictures of the members were published along with profiles for each of them. However, the next day, less than a week after the release of Kimchi Witch, Podum left the group for unknown reasons. There was no announcement about this, and the fans only found out on October 23rd when there was only 5 members present for a performance. The next performance we got from them was on November 1st, where the members appeared in new looks and custom outfits. Then later in November, on the 21st, TGN made a new channel for the group and posted a dance practice with a new version of the song called Kimchi Witch Club Version. However, the song itself was not released officially at this time. The club version was drastically different from the original Kimchi Witch, as it had new lyrics, and the video also included 2 new members, which at the time there was no information about them whatsoever. Fans had to wait until November 25th when new photos of the lineup were uploaded onto their fan cafe. The 2 new members were Aji and Grace Jin, and the leader position had been given to Susanna with no explanation given. Sometime after this, member Beanie also left leaders as she was absent for performances that took place on October 8th, but by February of 2015, it is believed that the whole lineup of Leaders T had left the group. The group once again went on hiatus until June 6th of 2015, when the new member Sandy shared on her Twitter account where we saw the 5 new member lineup of leaders. In this tweet, Sandy introduced herself as a sub-vocalist, but we did not get proper profiles or even names for the other members until June 12th. Further information that was found more recently is that Sandy was in leaders before, joining sometime in September of 2012, but then left the group shortly after. The 5 members of this new lineup were Han So-yoon, Yoon Sola, Go So-mi, Park Sol, and of course, Sandy. Then the club version of Kimchi Witch was released as a digital single, but for some reason the song was not re-recorded, so the song had the vocals of the lineup beforehand.
눈, 코, 입 찢을 수밖에 없어. 짧은 치마로
On June 24th, we got new photos of the lineup, with the photo shoot being sponsored by NY's wedding dresses. On June 25th, articles released that stated that this lineup was the unit Leaders G, but then it was quickly edited to just being Leaders, which was seemingly TGN's way of confirming that they were abandoning the 3-unit system for Leaders. On this day, this new lineup had their first performance of 2015. We then jump ahead to July 2nd, when Leaders, and in particular member Sandy, gained some attention as people said that she looked a lot like Choa and Wei from Crayon Pop. The article also stated that Leaders was planning to release a new song set sometime for the end of July. Leaders kept silent for a while, preparing for an upcoming release. On July 17th, we got the news that the girl working hard in the recording studio from July 15th to July 18th for their new album. The song was said to be a medium tempo ballad song with a story plot, with lyrics expressing the feelings of a woman going through a breakup and trying to ease the past memories of her partner. It was also revealed that the leader of this lineup was going to be Yoon Sola, and we also got the information that they were working on a music video and were aiming to start promotions in early August. However, on July 20th, the Leaders appeared at a festival with only 4 members as member Gosomi left the group right around the time the recording of the song was in process, or just right after. She was then quickly replaced on July 23rd with a new member, So Hyo-ji. There was never proper explanation given for this replacement. Apparently, Leaders were invited to perform at the World Cultural Olympiad Hallyu Festival that was taking place in multiple countries, starting in China and then going to Korea, Vietnam, Thailand, Iran, Malaysia, Turkey, the Netherlands, and the US. However, my sources say that there's no telling if this actually ever happened, as there's no pictures or videos of this happening. And I feel like if the group really did go on a basically mini festival world tour, it would be easier to find any kind of information about it. On July 30th, TGN revealed a teaser for the upcoming release of Story. The teaser did look more like a recording sketch, and then the song itself was not released after the teaser was out. This might be due to Park Sol leaving the group, and following her departure, the group went silent until August 17th, when it was revealed that one of the group members was appearing on the show Comedy Big League the same day. That member turned out to be So Hyo-ji. Apparently, the staff of the show did not even know that she was a member of Leaders. This was just a coincidence. But it was also revealed that they were planning to come back in September. On August 18th, TGN made a new fan cafe for the group, and on August 21st, the members started introducing themselves, starting with Sola, and then on August 22nd with Sandy and Soyoon, on 23rd with Hyoji being introduced, and on the 24th, we met a new member, Yoonbyul. With this new lineup, they started performing with covers like Tara's Bingle Bingle, Finkel's Internal Love, along with some older releases like the club version of Kimchi Witch, Kiss Me, and we finally heard the full version of Story. On September 2nd, once again, articles about Leaders' alleged comeback were released. In these articles, it was announced that the previous 24-member group was reducing their lineup to a 5-member group and were coming back / re-debuting after 2 years of training, starting their new promotions with the release of Story on September 30th. It was claimed that yes, Story was originally planned to be released in August, but it had to be pushed back due to overseas schedule and other various activities. The goal for this comeback was to win a Rookie of the Year award. It was also mentioned that they had been asked to star in a commercial for Scentimor, which seemed to be a plumbing company, which, yes, is very random. The commercial was filmed at Yeongsang Dragon Hall Spa, and the commercial mixed together a story about cleaning pipes with historical drama. Again, very random. In September, TGN started sharing photos of the members on their fan cafe, and members themselves would sometimes post on the fan cafe and interact with fans. On September 9th, articles shared that Leaders had won the Rookie of the Year award at the 2015 Korea's Shining People and Culture Awards, and the group would be receiving the award on the 18th. In regards to the news, TGN stated, quote, "We are still singers who lack much in terms of growth, so we are very grateful to be receiving such a great award. We will become the best girl group that continues to mature and never lose passion," end quote. This was one of the only awards Leaders would ever receive. On September 22nd, leaders won another award, and this would be their last award, this time at the Korean Talent Sharing Awards. That following day, leaders performed at the Incheon Football Stadium along with a small event called Your Leaders. Unlike so often before, Story was actually released on September 30th. However, there was no music video released, even though it was pretty much confirmed that a music video had been filmed, or at least had started production. Allegedly, there's even photos from set where a music video was being filmed, and even more proof can be found in the actual physical album Story, where there is credits to be found for music video directors. The song itself still had the vocals of Gosumi and Park Seol instead of the current members Hyeji and Yoonbil. This release also had a physical album like mentioned before, which of course included Story, but also the club version of Kimchi Witch and Kiss Me as extra tracks. However, the online version on streaming devices only had Story and the instrumental version. The physical album included profiles for each of the 5 members as well as thank you letters from each member. It might have also included a poster, but this has not been confirmed from what I understand. After the release of Story, they had a handful of performances, but Yoonbil was missing from a few of them due to her being ill. Their appearance at the Hamsung Baekje Historical and Cultural Street Procession would end up being the last performance of Leaders. On October 12th, out of the blue it seems, TGN shared the news that Sandy, Soyoon, and Yoonbil were all leaving the group due to personal reasons and that Leaders would be disbanding. The remaining 2 members would be re-debuting as a duo with the name Recipe. The group's Instagram and Facebook were taken down and their Twitter was scrubbed of all posts and renamed to Recipe Duo. The group's fan cafe also attempted to hide all prior posts, and fans were only provided with links to Sola's and Hyeji's social media accounts. On October 17th, Recipe had their first performance, and a day later, a fan page was made for them. With this, people came to the conclusion that the members had been moved from TGN to Woody Entertainment. On the first week of November, they started teasing their debut. They were posting regularly on their social media, and they posted schedules, selfies, and member Hyeji even appeared in Youngpoo's music video for Word Up. On November 16th, the duo released their song Goodbye Bye Bye. The name of the group, Recipe, was meant to show that the members had the ability to sing deliciously with the ingredients they were given. The song was a ballad with lyrics that boldly portrayed a woman facing a breakup. About this song, Woody Entertainment said, quote, "Recipe will become a recipe that cooks up the music industry with a sincere song. As a female duo that competes with her singing ability, we want to hone our skills even more and show a good side of ourselves to many people," end quote. The single album released a title track and a B-side that was a re-recording of Leader's song Story. The album also included member profiles, where we found out that TGN had been lying about the members' ages. TGN had claimed that Sola was born in 1992 and Hyeji was born in 1993. However, it turns out that Sola was actually born in 1988 and Hyeji was born in 1990. Which is a pretty big difference, and it's not known why TGN would lie about the girls' ages. It was speculated this was done so they could keep the members of the ages similar and not have members that are quote-unquote too old. This debut was unfortunately tainted with allegations that came out the same day, and we will get into that very soon. But Recipe did keep going and performed their debut single. Later it seemed that the duo was transferred to another company, SBC, as their fan cafe linked to SBC Cafe, and SBC even posted about them with the caption, quote, "SBC Company Group Recipe." The group kept doing schedules sporadically throughout 2015, but starting in 2016, they went completely silent until March 22nd, when a post was made announcing that due to circumstances within the company, Recipe Fan Cafe would be shutting down, and this was considered the unofficial disbandment of the duo. Content warning. This portion will cover serious topics such as sexual harassment of a minor, along with harassment, financial coercion, and overall misuse of power. I won't be going into graphic detail, but when needed, I will be reading direct quotes from the accusers. Keep in mind that this whole section is only alleged and everything I say are claims made by other people. Now, I could not make a video about TGN and leaders without touching on some very serious allegations made against TGN. I did not include it in the original timeline before, as I wanted to make this its own section. But the situation starts on November 16th, a month after leaders' disbandment, where articles started coming out claiming that TGN was in deep trouble and being hit with a lawsuit. According to the article by Star Today, the CEO of TGN Entertainment, Park Young-sik, was facing heavy lawsuit. The CEO of TGN was being charged with sexual harassment of minors, extortion, intimidation, fraud, identity theft, and forgery of private documents. The CEO claimed in response, quote, "This is a conspiracy by those trying to take over the company," end quote. He said that he would be filing a counter lawsuit for defamation and false accusations. In the same article from Star Today, in an interview with former staff member of TGN, who we will call Mr. A, he said, quote, "I plan to sue Mr. Park within this weekend. I will expose Mr. Park's misdeeds," end quote. In another article, the reason given as to why this was all coming out, quote, "CEO Park has started a new agency and is demanding money again. We cannot create a second victim," end quote. In the same article, they claimed that some former members of leaders were also considering suing the CEO. Mr. A claimed that TGN Entertainment was just a shell company, in other words, a company that didn't actually exist. He further claimed that TGN was being seized due to tax bombing and that it had went out of business. However, according to Mr. A, the name of the business was instead the name of Mr. A. The money-making contracts were all allegedly handled by Park Young-sik, who acted as CEO, but it was actually Mr. A that was registered as the business owner. Mr. A said that due to the company going out of business and with the tax issues, all financial burden landed on Mr. A, bringing Mr. A to the brink of a bankruptcy. This means, allegedly, that the CEO took the members and ran over to another label. We do not know the name of it, but it is likely that this was Woody Entertainment, leaving Mr. A to deal with the fallout of TGN Entertainment. Mr. A also said in regards to the members of the group, quote, "The leaders' members also signed a contract with the company, but it became useless. They only believed what the agency said and signed the contract, but in the end, they did not receive any appearance fees. The members are very hurt," end quote. The CEO was accused of not taking care of things that needed to be done while running an idol group, like practice room rent, employee salary, and accommodation cost. Allegedly, he had also even made one of the members of leaders pay for accommodation under his name. It was claimed that he was forcing the members to take out loans worth millions of wons by baiting them into TV appearances. When this didn't work out, the CEO would threaten to kick out the members. Mr. A also claimed, quote, "Park sexually harassed female trainees and members who were minors," end quote. He also continued, quote, "He touched the children's buttocks, made them sit in his lap and rub their bodies while they were sleeping, and he repeatedly made sexually humiliating remarks and actions such as 'let's shower together,' end quote." The reporter behind the Star Today article also spoke to one of the members' mothers, and the mother claimed that, quote, "I was also a victim. When Park asked to talk quietly in a place, I went there and he suddenly hugged and kissed me. I was so shocked I ended up believing the children's claims," end quote. Of course, the CEO, Park Young-sik, strongly denied the claims, saying, quote, "Since the Popular Culture and Art Industry Development Act went into effect last July, I was not qualified, so I gave Mr. A the title of CEO, but after that his attitude suddenly changed," end quote. For context, the Popular Culture and Arts Industry Development Act, also known as the Entertainment Agency Registration System, is an act that, quote, "The purpose of the act is to firmly establish a healthy popular culture and to contribute to enhancing the quality of Korean cultural life by laying the foundation for popular culture and the art industry," end quote. Park Young-sik said that all the allegations were a ploy to take over his company by accusing him of these crimes, taking advantage of his weakness. He also claimed that Mr. A had sexually harassed his manager, basically throwing the accusations back at Mr. A. In response to the sexual harassment allegations against him, he said, quote, "After finishing practice, I felt bad for the children who were having a bad time, so I just comforted them. I had absolutely no other intentions," end quote. Park Young-sik continued by saying, quote, "I am paralyzed on one side of my body and I can't walk. Even though I have suffered losses all this time, I told them to go, but they are slandering me instead." End quote. Both Mr. A and Park Young-sik stated that they had evidence to support their statements, including bank transfers, contracts, and statements from people around them, including members of leaders. However, I am not sure what happened to this case. After the initial reporting of the allegations, there doesn't seem to be any further information on what happened or if they ended up going to court. In the article by Star Today, they speak more about the registration system, and I will quote their article directly, quote, "The revised entertainment agency registration system requires that at least 4 years of experience to be recognized in order to operate as a management company or be listed as an executive. Even if you have 4 years of experience, you cannot be a violator of the Youth Protection Act or go for bankruptcy," end quote. Now, I might be looking too much into this, but in their words, it sounds like they're pushing back a bit on Park Young-sik's claims. His reason as to why he was not qualified and therefore handed the title over to Mr. A was very vague. If we look at the guidelines for the registration system, it states that you need to have at least 4 years of experience. That also then needs to be confirmed, and then you get the green light to operate as a management company. So, why was CEO Park Young-sik not qualified? Remember at the start of this video, Park Young-sik started a company in the early 2000s. But even if we just look at when TGN started, that was in 2009. This act, according to the article, went into effect of July of 2015. 2009 to 2015 is 6 years. He has had multiple groups under his label, and yes, they were all very small and underrated, but there is no mention of how large or small a label needs to be. So again, why wasn't he qualified? Now, I understand that it can be very hard to take in so much information. Trust me, at times I thought I was going crazy working on this video. So hearing a timeline spread over a few years with loads of information, you kind of might not realize how chaotic everything about leaders was. From the lineup to comebacks, or the lack of them, to TGN and their choices, there is so much to criticize when it comes to leaders. So just to really make a point, let me go over the timeline of lineups of leaders. In 2010, leaders consisted of Dahae, SHINee, Solji, Chaeyoul, Yesul, as well as Selin and Sharon, who were in 7 size before. By late December of 2010, Sharon had left and was replaced with Yeonsil. On March 22nd, 2011, leaders had their official debut with Please. From March 2011 to roughly August of 2011, the lineup consisted of Dahae, SHINee, Solji, Chaeyoul, Yesul, Selin, and Yeonsil. In late July or early August, SHINee left the group and was replaced with 2 new members, Kyungsuk and Pingli. From August of 2011 to December of 2011, leaders consisted of Dahae, Solji, Chaeyoul, Yesul, Selin, Yeonsil, Kyungsuk, and Pingli. The group had their first comeback with Kiss Me on September 19th, 2011. Then on September 28th, leaders released their single Olympic Korea. By late November of 2011, Solji had left leaders and was replaced with Aera in early December. Following that, Chaeyoul and Selin also left, being replaced with Sol and Yusul. By March of 2012, all the members of leaders had left. They were then replaced with 7 members that we do not have the names of to this day. By May of 2012, unit leaders T had been reformed with Sarang, Habin, and Purum. The other members that were in this new reformed unit are not known, but there were more members than those 3. By late 2012, everyone had once again left. In 2014, the group once again had a new lineup of Susanna, Bini, Mulan, Cherry, and Purum. In October of 2013, Purum once again left, just after the group's single Kimchi Witch that was released on October 17th. By November, she had been replaced with Grace, Jin, and Aji. The units were dissolved by June of 2015, and the new leaders consisted of Gosemi, Sol, Sandy, Soyun, and Sola. By July of 2015, Gosemi left and was replaced with Hyoji. August 2015, Sol left and was replaced with Yoonbyul. Through the September and into October of 2015, the lineup was Sola, Hyoji, Soyun, Sandy, and Yoonbyul. However, Yoonbyul was on hiatus due to her being sick. On September 30th, 2015, the group released their song Story. On October 12th, Yoonbyul, Soyun, and Sandy left the group. Following that, the group disbanded. But that is not all of it. That was just the main group, or Leaders T. The announcement about the 3 Leaders unit was made on October 27th. The first lineup for Leaders G consisted of Sally, Annie, Danbin, Yejin, Soyoung, Minhee, Habin, and Gunhye. On February 12th, Annie left the group while Habin was transferred out of Unit G. Habin was then replaced with Miso, and Annie, who had left, was replaced with a girl we do not have the name of. By May of 2012, Gunhye, Yejin, and Minhee left the group, and by the end of 2012, it seems like the rest had also left Leaders G. In early 2015, there seemed to be plans of Leaders G having a comeback with the main group in mid-2015, but plans never happened and the unit system was dissolved. As for Leaders N, the first lineup was Soyoon, Sookyung, Sangha, Yoojun, Jiyoung, Bomin, Irang, and Serom. But right before the Scentimor and Leaders showcase, Soyoon, Sookyung, Sangha, and Yoonju left. They were quickly replaced with Purim and 3 other girls that we never got the names of. Member Jiyoung also ended up changing her stage name to Sunghee. Right after the showcase, Bomin, along with 2 other nameless girls, left the group. There was also member Sola, not to be confused with the other Sola that was in Leaders later on, but she left rather quickly, so Leaders N was down to 4 members. By March of 2012, Irang and Sunghee had left, while Habin, Yoonhee, and 4 other girls that we don't know the names of got moved into this unit, Leaders N. By May of 2017, Serom and Yoonhee had left the group. By the end of the year, there was no members left in the unit, and there was no new members in Leaders N in 2013 or 2014. There are some rumors that there were members called Woojung and Dahyun in Leaders N, but there's no proof that they actually existed. Are we still confused? Super simple, right? To this day, there are still 22 members that we do not know the identity of. I just need to jump in here really fast. As I mentioned earlier in the video, we actually have found the name of one of these members, which is Miso, so now the number's only 21 unknown members. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, yes, there are large groups that work and even have units like TGN was attempting, look at NCT or Triple S, but it's how the company went about it that made it all really fall apart. On top of the rapid member changes, TGN themselves only announced the departure of members Yoonbyo, Sandy, and Soyeon. Yes, out of all of those changes, TGN themselves could not even bother to let the fans know. The reasons we know of other changes is, for example, when Cindy left and Kyung-suk and Ping Lee joined, this information was given to the fans by a manager of the group. We found out about the departures of Irang, Serom, Seol, Annie, and Gunhye through Twitter. Yoonhye revealed her departure on a TV show, Martian Virus. And the other departure and such were all just detective work of fans that went through the group's career with a fine-tooth comb. Most of the members that joined Leaders had to introduce themselves on Twitter, so it also made things even more confusing when random accounts were popping up claiming to be in Leaders. The amount of work fans like Leaders TGN did is just wild. There is no reason why fans would literally have to basically dedicate their life to finding out basic information about a group. Fans would have to reach out to the girls themselves just to ask if they were still in the group due to lack of information given by the company. Moving on from the issues of the lineup itself, we also need to focus on TGN. The lack of care and effort is just mind-blowing. Like I said at the start of this video, this was not the label's first or even second group. And yes, their artists beforehand were not huge names in the K-pop industry, but I feel like there was loads of learning that could be done while running Tagona and TGN for a while before making Leaders. They have patterns of doing the same thing again and again with their groups. Member changes, large lineups, lack of promotion, and overall lack of content. As Leaders was definitely not the only TGN group where the music videos were missing and so on. And every time a member left, instead of just taking a breather, taking a moment to think and reorganize, they would add new members, throwing out audition announcements left and right. And without saying too much, I definitely think there's something fishy going on with that CEO or the company itself. I can't remember exactly where I heard this. I want to say that it was from a video by former Nine Muses member Ryusera, but when many members are leaving the group, there has to be something going on behind the scenes. I didn't want to end this video without speaking a little bit more about the former members and where they are now. There isn't a lot of information on most of them, but still, I wanted to give you a small rundown. Like I said before, most of the members we still do not have names for, and 5 of the members we do not even know what they look like. I want to once again make a request that you guys do not reach out to any of the members of leaders, as they have moved on and most of them do not want to speak about it. If you have any questions about the group or the members, please, instead of contacting them, comment your questions down below or reach out to Leaders TGN on Twitter. Sharon seemingly became a model for swimming wear after her time in Leaders and also received some awards. Cindy became a freelance model and a musical actress. Yonsil also became a model and she also posts onto TikTok. Yesol, after leaving TGN, joined Plain Entertainment in 2013 and in 2014 ended up debuting as a member of the group Ayla. I hope I'm saying that right, with the stage name Yena. The group debuted with her song Pretty 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 Girl in January of 2014, but then after that the group seemingly disbanded silently. In 2018, she joined another group called Baby Boo under Hyunda Company, which I believe is Plain Entertainment but with a new name. She appeared in the group with the stage name Hajin and then left the same year she joined Baby Boo. She then re-debuted as a member of Yuliani, a group that would be rebranded to Dahlia. The whole situation with the company is very, very shady, and Midnight Theories and Pluby have a collaboration video about Baby Boo and Ayla, where they revealed the awful practices of the company and the people behind it who abused the members and had them under exploitative contracts. I will provide a link down below if you're interested in hearing more about this. After this, she left the K-pop industry and is married. Yusol became a member of the second generation of the group Rapid Heart Girls in 2013, and the same month she was announced as a member, they released a digital single. She left the group soon after and has not come back to the industry. Danbi formed a duet group with her sister and released some covers under the name Mingle Mellow. She also tried out modeling for a while. Habin wanted to keep following her dreams of being an idol after her time in Leaders. She ended up changing her name to Kimi and joined the group Scarlet in 2014 to replace another member. This group had a comeback in early July of 2014, but she ended up leaving Scarlet sometime in August, just before the group disbanded. She joined the first season of Produce 101 that aired from January till April, but was eliminated on episode 8 with a rank of 44. She then joined another group called Bulldog, and the group made their debut on October 20th, 2016 with the single Why Not. She stayed in the group until the group's disbandment. On August 25th of 2017, Kimi had her solo debut with the song I Am. She also had her first solo comeback with Mami Mami in late August of 2018. In May, she debuted in a duo called Papillon, but the duo then presumably disbanded that same year. In early April of 2021, Kimi was announced as a new member of We Girls, but in February of 2022, the group silently disbanded, with the only confirmation of this to this day is a DM between one of the former members and a fan. In May of 2022, it was reported that she was preparing for an album with a new group. After some time, in November, Kimi posted on her Instagram story where she showed off her new group. The girl group was named On Air, and in January of 2023, they announced that On Air was planning to debut with SW Entertainment. With more member changes in between, sometime in January of this year, Kimi was removed from the company website, indicating that she departed from the group. By the way, if SW Entertainment sounds familiar, I did speak about them in a recent video, as there's a lot of confusing information going on with that label. I will provide a link for the video if you want more information about that company. Gunhae was added into the girl group MOA in 2014. After that, some members of the group ended up leaving. She was never a part of a group release, unfortunately, as the group ended up disbanding in 2015. She now works as a model and an influencer. Plutum joined Jackpot Entertainment and debuted as a solo artist with her song Gift in February of 2013. She has since then released multiple solos under different labels, and then she ended up rejoining Leaders. In 2014, she ended up going back to her own label, PR Entertainment, and debuted in the group Baba, which I have covered on my channel before. Another group that has a lot of member changes. I wonder if she learned all the tips and tricks from TGN. Mulan ended up making her own label called Crayon Talent, where she made her own dance crew called 7L in 2016 and went by her real name, Sujin. The dance crew ended up changing their name just a few days later into Chami Girls, but by 2017 the dance crew Facebook page has gone silent and she recently deleted her Facebook page. Cherry joined Mystica Entertainment and joined the group Pocket Girls in 2015, and then the group had a debut in April of that year with the song Bang Bang. However, she ended up leaving the group in 2016 to focus on her studies in a university. She currently works as a model and posts on social media often. Gosami ended up opening her own restaurant called Gosami Kitchen, and it has various locations and it seems to be doing pretty good. Yoonbyul joined the pre-debut group Smile under PR Entertainment, which is Purim's company that also debuted Baba. However, this gets a little bit confusing as there is another group that was called Smile pre-debut before changing their name to YJIG, and they are under GR Entertainment, so it is a little bit confusing. The only thing we know about Soyeon is that she might be working in dentistry or something related to that. Sandy, before her time in Leaders, was a member of the group Toran under her stage name Ji-young and joined the group for random promotions in China. This group also has a lot of confusing member changes. We have found out some further information about Sandy and her time in Turan. It was believed that she was just in the group for random appearances, but we got the confirmation that she was actually the so-called mystery member in Turan's first mini album on the song Mystery Member. So she was actually in an official release. We just didn't know until literally like a week ago. She ended up leaving the group not long after she joined and came to TGN sometime in 2015 and ended up having her debut in Leaders with a repack version of Kimchi Witch. After she left Leaders in 2016, she joined Zero Entertainment, and in July of that year, she debuted in the group Lucky Girls. It is assumed that only a month after the group's debut that the group silently disbanded. Sandy then joined KG Entertainment and started preparing for a debut with the group Bubble Candy. But all the members of Bubble Candy ended up leaving pre-debut and the group was rebranded to Rose Fairy. Sandy did end up making her debut in Rose Fairy in November 2016, but the group presumably disbanded not long after. Apparently, she was also briefly a part of another cult called Chili Cheek, but allegedly got kicked out for missing her first performance to attend an FT Island concert. She also has mentioned that she's preparing something for the future, but it has been years since she claimed this, so it's not sure if she's still actually preparing something or not. Sola, after her time in Leaders and then Recipe, joined One Shot Entertainment in 2017 and became a member of the group S2U under the stage name Sujong. STU had their debut in May of 2017 and then had a comeback in January of 2018. In March of 2018, the group was preparing for the third single, but the comeback had to be postponed when the group got into a car crash, and one of the members got so injured that she needed 6 months to recover. The group had plans to try again to have a comeback, but that was postponed after a new member, Gahyun, ended up leaving the group and joining I Love. Yes, this I Love. In June of 2019, One Shot Entertainment announced that the members decided to not renew their contracts and were leaving the agency. After that, Sola became a broadcast jockey on Africa TV in 2020, where she would post regularly. She then joined 2% Entertainment, a company that ended up getting the rights to Recipe songs. She debuted as a soloist in August of 2021 with her song Love, Separation, and Longing. She then had a comeback in February of 2022 with her song The First Breakup, That Story. She had a second comeback in August of that same year with her song Superstar. In 2023, she joined the group DD Girls with the stage name EA-SU. I'm not really sure how to say that. And the group debuted with the song Knock Knock, but it did not last long and ended up disbanding. She is still active on Africa TV under her username Queen Sujong. After Hyoji's time in Leaders and Recipes, she stayed under SBC until June of 2016 when a post was made by her CEO where the CEO stated that her activities had been suspended and that she was not allowed to participate in any activities. The post claimed that Hyoji had been in a hard situation, saying that she was getting threatening texts from the TGN CEO. She asked the CEO of SBC for help, and the CEO wrote her a contract and released Recipe songs, which means a loss of revenue for the company. But after getting this help, she allegedly stopped answering the phone calls and texts from the CEO of SBC and started going to her own schedules without notifying or confirming with her company. She then allegedly sent SBC a notice that she planned to cancel her contract with the company. The CEO of SBC claimed that Hyoji was spreading rumors about the company, saying that they were also a ghost company and was discouraging people from joining. The company said that if she tried to sign with another label or worked further, there would be legal actions taken against her. It is not clear if anything further came of this. She seems to have left the industry since then. She did do some modeling in mid-2016, but besides that, it is not known what she is up to today. Members Tae, Selin, Susanna, Bini, Irang, and Seram left the K-pop industry after their time in Leaders and are just living their lives, some even being active on their own personal social media. Members Solji, Bomin, Chaeyeol, and Yesol, who I mentioned before, are now married, and Solji and Chaeyeol are also now mothers. As for members Sunghee, Sally, Annie, Sol, Sarang, Pingli, Kyungsuk, Minhee, Sola, Aira, Sujong, Yejin, Sol, Aji, Christian, Yoonhee, Seoyun, Sookyung, Sangha, Yoonju, and Ayeon, we do not know what happened to them after they left Leaders. So if anyone is watching that so happens to know any further information about them or anyone else, please feel free to let me know in the comments. That is going to be it for this video. I know that this was a lot of information to take in, but I know a lot of you guys who watch my channel enjoy videos like these, so I hope this one was at least fun, even though it was a little bit chaotic. I had a lot of fun making this video, so I hope the response is good. I will make sure to link all relevant information in the description box and all videos mentioned throughout the video. Feel free to leave your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. I want to again ask that you guys do not reach out to anyone who we spoke about in this video, especially the former members, as they have moved on from this part of their lives, and I do not blame them for wanting to leave this in the past. I also want to once again give a huge thank you to Leaders TGN on Twitter, who helped me so much with this video. I could not have done this without them, so huge thanks to them, and of course I will leave their social media down below. I want to just jump back in here and again say a huge thank you to Leaders TGN. I also want to say thank you to Angel and Soul on YouTube for helping so much with this, and I also want to give a huge thank you to two people on Twitter, those being MILF Night Circus, as well as same thing to her on Twitter for helping Leaders TGN with all this research. I really appreciate it, because I don't know how I would have found basically any of the information that we covered in this video. A huge thanks to all of them for all the help with this video. And don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I already have 2 other video ideas that I want to work on. One is a video about Weki Mickey, and then I want to do a deep dive on 17. So if it's gonna take some time, please don't get upset. I will try to get my next video out sooner than later. But that is gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.